You know, the cruelest thing about being broke isn't the empty bank account. It's the constant fear. The feeling that one small slip, one flat tire, one late bill is going to send your entire life tumbling down. And for me, Serena Hayes, that fear was doubled. Because I wasn't just broke, I was being hunted. I'm a single mom in Westwood, Ohio, just outside Cincinnati, working 2 jobs, constantly looking over my shoulder because my ex-partner, Devin, couldn't handle being told no. He started this campaign of psychological warfare 3 months ago. Phone calls, showing up at the hospital where I worked, and finally, his friends Marcus and Troy started appearing everywhere, just present, making me feel like prey. The restraining order was just paper, useless when they knew where my 8-year-old daughter, Chloe, and I lived. The police were sympathetic, but their hands were tied. Stalking on a public street isn't technically illegal. They said, I survived by sheer stubbornness, relying on my grandmother's words, "Baby, we help because we can, not because we should. And we don't judge folks by what they look like on the outside." Those words would turn out to be the only thing that saved us. That it was 3 p.m., Friday. My shift at St. Jude's Hospital was done. I pulled my beat-up Civic into the Speedway station on Grant Avenue, hoping to grab just enough gas to get through the weekend. The card reader beeped its rejection. My auto insurance had gone through, leaving me overdrawn. I was standing there, heat creeping up my neck, praying the few fumes left in the tank would stretch until Monday, when I saw him. Pump 7, a huge Harley-Davidson, gleaming chrome, refusing to start. The man was maybe 50, salt and pepper beard, weathered face, wearing a worn leather vest that immediately caught my eye, a massive phoenix with wings patch. Everyone in Westwood knew what that meant. The Phoenix Riders Motorcycle Club. Trouble, outlaws. Stay away. But watching him struggle, I didn't see a criminal. I saw frustration. I saw a man having a worse day than mine. He was clearly stranded. His expensive phone was dead, and he couldn't get a hold of his group. Every voice of caution screamed at me to leave, but Grandma's voice was louder. I walked over, feeling every eye on me. "Excuse me, you okay?" He looked up, studying me carefully. "Battery's dead. Phone, too. I was supposed to meet my group an hour ago." He paused. "They'll be worried." I offered him a ride to the auto parts store. He smiled faintly. "You don't know me from Adam," he warned me, his voice carrying a rasp. "Could be dangerous offering rides to strangers. Could be," I agreed, rain spotting my scrubs. "But you seem more frustrated than dangerous. And everyone deserves help when they're stuck." His look shifted. Surprise, maybe respect. He agreed, but only on one condition. He reached into a substantial wallet, definitely not broke, and insisted on filling my tank first. $1.45 of premium gas went into my Civic, the most I'd put in it once in months. "Thank you," I said, a mix of gratitude and embarrassment. "Yes, I did," he said simply. "I'm Reese Marshall, Serena." As we drove, the conversation felt oddly natural. He directed me to the AutoZone with the confidence of someone who knew the area intimately. I noticed the way the teenage clerk, Danny, spoke to him, not with fear, but genuine regard, like Reese had earned something. On the drive back, he asked me the question I dreaded. "Okay, why are you helping me?" "The real reason." I took a deep breath. "Because I know what it feels like when everything goes wrong at once. And I know what it feels like when someone helps anyway." He nodded, accepting my truth. Then he caught the worry in my voice. "Trouble." I hesitated, but something about his non-judgmental authority made me open up about Devin. "He's everywhere I am. Him and his friends. Just present. Police won't do anything." Reese's expression hardened almost imperceptibly. "I know. The police call that a gray area. We call that a threat." Back at the Speedway, his bike roared to life. He shut it off and handed me a heavy, expensive card stock, not paper. A phone number, the name Reese Marshall, and the Phoenix with Wings logo. The text around the patch read, "Phoenix Riders MC, Westwood Chapter President. We take care of our own, and we take care of people who take care of us," he said, his voice quiet but absolute. "If you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you call this number. Day or night." He put on his helmet, but kept the visor up. "Sometimes the help we need comes from unexpected places, As he rode off, I stood there, holding a card that felt heavier than my own financial worries. My life had fundamentally shifted, but I didn't know yet if it was towards salvation or more trouble. The next morning, the acrid smell of fresh cigarette butts near my window confirmed the worst Devin had been watching. He wasn't a smoker. The police filed the report, but called it not technically evidence. That evening, the first text came. Saw you talking to some biker yesterday, making new friends. Better hope he's tougher than your restraining order. D. I felt sick. He had seen us. He was escalating. But what Devin didn't know was that his taunt's mistake had just activated the very protection. He mocked Dot at 11:47 p.m. The silence shattered. I jolted awake to the sound of breaking glass my car window. Devin and his friends were outside. Devin had my spare key. They weren't waiting. They were coming and my hands shook, dialing Reese's second number, the one marked different purpose. He answered instantly. Yeah, Reese, it's Serena. They're here, outside my building. They broke my car window. Your address right now. Do not open the door for anyone except the police or me. How many? 3, maybe more. My voice cracked. 15 minutes. Can you hold it for 15 minutes? You can. Reese's voice carried absolute, unwavering certainty. Lock that bedroom door now. I grabbed Chloe, hid behind the bed, and waited. The buzzer rang once, twice, then silence, then footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate. They were picking the lock. Then the explosion, not loud, but terrifying. Marcus tumbled through my third-floor bedroom window, glass cascading around him. He'd climbed the fire escape. He grinned, unlocking the bedroom door from the inside. Devin and Troy entered through the apartment door. Now, Devin said calmly, stepping into the room, "We can finally have that conversation, Serena." I clutched Chloe, pressing myself against the wall, eyes scanning the broken window and the 3 men blocking my escape. This is it, I thought. The system failed. Then, a sound that started low, far off, and grew into a powerful, rolling thunder. Motorcycles. Not 1 or 2 dozens. The rumble echoed through the parking lot, and then silence. Car doors slammed, heavy doors. A new voice cut through the tension, clear and amplified. Through the broken window, Devin Williams. You and your boys have 30 seconds to walk out of that building with your hands visible. Reese Marshall's voice. Devin's face went white. Who the hell? Phoenix Riders, Troy whispered. And suddenly all 3 men looked genuinely terrified. Reese's voice continued. Miss Hayes, this is Reese Marshall, Phoenix Riders MC. The building is secure. Police are here. You and your daughter are safe. Devin's bravado evaporated. He rushed to the window. In the parking lot, dozens of motorcycles were arranged in perfect, militaristic formation. Men and women in leather stood beside them like soldiers. Police cars ringed the perimeter, but the officers were coordinating with the bikers, not confronting them. Reese appeared in my doorway, flanked by 2 huge men wearing patches that read, Sergeant Tatarms. He was no longer the frustrated man at the gas pump. He was absolute authority. But the biggest shock was the tactical vest and the badge that caught the hallway light. Gentlemen, Reese said politely to Devin and his crew, I believe you were leaving. Devin looked at Marcus, at Troy, at the broken window, at Reese. Whatever he saw in Reese's face made his decision for him. This isn't over, he told me. Reese stepped aside to let them pass, then said quietly, actually, it is. As police led them away in handcuffs, Reese knelt beside Chloe and me. How? I managed to ask, trembling. Phoenix Riders MC operates a community protection service. Reese explained, pulling out an official ID. Robert Reese Marshall, Director of Community Safety, Phoenix Security Solutions, licensed, bonded, and working directly with the Westwood PD. He explained that his organization was run by combat veterans and licensed security professionals, channeling their military training into domestic violence intervention and neighborhood security. We're not what people think, he said gently. We happen to ride motorcycles, but we take care of people who take care of us. And we don't forget kindness, but the price of that salvation was immediate. The next morning, my hospital supervisor, Jana, called me in. The police report mentions your association with a motorcycle club, Serena. The board is concerned about liability. If this continues, we might have to reconsider your employment. The message was clear. My safety was a liability. My neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, pulled me aside. Honey, people are saying you brought this trouble on yourself. Maybe if you hadn't helped that man, the isolation started. My attempt to do good was destroying the only stability I had left. Reese called that evening. Honestly, I'm starting to understand why people don't call for help, I told him. Maybe accepting your help was a mistake. Maybe it was, Reese said quietly. But let me offer you an alternative. A job. He offered me the position of Community Liaison Coordinator for Phoenix Security Solutions, $48,000. A year, full benefits, and a chance to help other women in my exact situation. The hospital saw my association with them as a liability. Reese saw my experience as an asset. The choice was agonizing, but the promise was electrifying. Chloe would receive a full scholarship to any private school. I wouldn't just be safe, I would be purposeful. I gave Reese my answer the next day. 6 months later, I walked into the same Speedway station. I wasn't Serena, the terrified transport aide. I was Serena Hayes, Community Safety Coordinator for Phoenix Security Solutions, wearing a sharp blazer with the Phoenix logo, carrying myself with quiet confidence that my experience gave me credibility no textbook could match. I learned threat assessment, emergency protocol, and most importantly, I unlearned years of thinking small. Chloe was thriving in a private academy. The change rippled through the community. Mrs. Rodriguez, when her own niece faced a stalking situation, quietly called me for help. My former supervisor, Jana, even approached me about developing a formal partnership between the hospital and Phoenix Security. We were short-sighted, Serena, Jana admitted. We saw the leather jackets and made assumptions. We should have looked at the results. The media ran a feature, Unlikely Heroes, How Bikers Are Changing Community Safety. Reese, articulate and professional, explained, most of us learned how to protect people in the military. This is just us continuing that mission in civilian life. 1 year later, on a cold October afternoon, I stood at pump 6 of the same Speedway station, watching a young woman, Maria, struggle with a declined card. The desperation on her face was familiar, the same fear I had felt. I walked up to her. "Excuse me, having trouble?" She looked up, embarrassed. I thought I had enough. "I can't accept charity from a stranger." "It's not charity," I said, inserting my own card. "It's kindness, and sometimes kindness comes back in ways you never expect." As her tank filled, Maria revealed she was a single mom, medical assistant, studying nursing, and her ex was stalking her. The police told her they couldn't do anything until he actually